Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
Why is my camera so, pointed down? Good evening.
You got the dramatic,
Jesus.
cinematic angle.
I was like, what is that? Chat, awkward. I have to go pee, so Elizabeth will entertain you.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing?
All right, Elizabeth, say nice things about me. Bye.
Bye. It's Tuesday. What did we all get up to today? I wrote words. I tried to finagle a Substack problem. Um, them's the goods. It is indeed Tuesday. You voted. Congratulations to everyone who voted. If you haven't voted, put the stream on your phone, go to your local voting place, and bring us with you when you go. Let us know how it goes. Ugh. You guys can't see it, but I can see a little pumpernickel in the background of Ash's video, and he's looking out the window very concerned. I'm excited to see how all of this, how everything shakes out. Interested to see if we can start seeing hope for the future. Hello.
I'm sorry, was there a cat? Why is
Yeah,
everyone saying
I could.
puppy?
Well, I could see your cat,
Oh,
and I was describing what he was doing on his cat tree.
what was he doing?
He was looking out the window, and then he left.
Yeah, he gets weird when we leave their room for too long. So, I was peeing, and then I went to talk to Taylor, and then he was like, you guys are talking without me. When he hears us talking, he's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Where
I
am
need
I?
to be
I'm
here.
supposed to be here.
It's wild. Like he'll be sleeping downstairs, and I'll come upstairs to be like, hey, I need to go to the grocery store. I'm like about to run out. Sprints up the stairs. He's like,
I must be part. I'm part of the family.
this is a 3 conversation, not a 2. I don't know what this 2-person shit is without me.
Correct. You
Pepper says
gotta
FOMO.
you gotta have the mediator.
He's got a thing for control. He likes to control the conversation. I get here, we're talking about peeing. Okay, we're talking about peeing for like 2 seconds and mentioning in the sentence. I also don't think I said peeing. I think I said use the bathroom. You just assumed I peed. I could have been powdering my nose.
Could have been doing coke in there.
I could have been doing. That's what I meant by powdering my nose. Sorry.
Oh, gotcha.
Snake says
apologies.
recovered after being sick for a day and a half. You want to hear some crazy shit? I'm telling my coworkers shit if she's listening or not, or will listen. So she's telling me that her little boy, 9 years old, 6. He's either 9 or 6. He has impetigo. I'm not pronouncing this correctly. It's some kind of staph infection.
Oh.
But he has like a little thing on his nose. And she's like, where did this come from? And she remembers he had a bump on his arm. And then she's like, okay, maybe that was it because we got some cream and they couldn't confirm it was staph, but they did the cream and went away. And then he got something on his nose and it was confirmed that it is the staph or whatever. But she's like, where did this come from? And obviously in my head, I was like, someone in his school. Because kids are gross. And apparently she's like, yeah, but this weekend we know where it came from because there's a kid on his, I think, soccer or football team that had like a staph infection like this big.
Ew.
So she went up to him and she was like, hey, are you taking care of this? And he's like, no. Like, we haven't gone to the doctor or anything.
Ooh.
Someone's running around with their kid having a whole staph arm.
Me.
And they're not doing anything about it. I was like, these parents
Sounds
are
like
crazy.
my parents.
Doing coke with
My
the
dad
cat.
my dad always refused to take us to the doctor. So we just never
It would have to be really bad. So in Poland, you don't go to the doctor unless like your body, like you're about to, like your body parts are falling off. Even then, it's like rub some dirt in it. You know, like you don't waste the doctor's time. So like if we had strep throat, unless we couldn't talk, my mom would be like, deal with it. Or we're dealing with it at home, but you're not going to the doctor. You're not wasting their time.
Yeah.
With whatever you got going on.
Oh, see, it was not the doctor's time. It was my dad's time.
No, it was a doctor's time for us.
Different upbringings.
Maybe they said that, and they just because they both worked at the deli, and like they're usually both working there, so maybe they're like, yeah, the doctor, he's totally busy.
You leave that man alone.
You leave that man alone. He's like Santa Claus. You got to be on the nice list.
You have to get a personal invitation, and you better have something wrong with you when you get that invitation. It's like jury duty.
Except I actually want to go to jury duty.
I got all the time in the world for it now, so if I could, I would do it.
Good evening, Kel, for the 26 months. Good evening, girls. Hi, chat. What's up, Kel? Bom
Gang's
dia.
all
Oh, it's
here.
not good morning. Boa no, no, boa notte. That's what I'm trying to say. I was like, wait, one's Spanish and one's Portuguese. We also had Pericles with the 33 freaking months. Yo, what's good? Pericles, thank you so much for the 33 months. Thank you for being part of the cult. I appreciate it. Kel, for the 26 months. Don't tell anyone I see a doctor once a week. We're in the same networking group. That's funny. I'm going to the doctor's tomorrow. Everyone should go,
Nice.
especially if you're a woman, to get. Oh, is pap smear every 3 years or every year now? It depends how old you are, right?
I think so. And if they found anything in your first one to justify you coming back
Yeah. If
regularly.
you haven't gone in a while, if you're a lady, please go to your OBGYN. And then also make sure you get your mammograms checked out. And then if you're a dude, make sure you go to your doctors. I don't know if this is like a dude thing. Some dudes are like this. All dudes are like this. Taylor's like this. My father's like this. Why go to the doctor? Why get a yearly checkup? Why get it bi-yearly? Why do it? Why go in once every 3 years? I'll go once every 10. Just go.
Yeah. When there's something wrong, I will go.
If you're not a woman, stop being an idiot and go to the doctor anyway. Yeah, if you're able to, if you have company insurance, go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on over there? Oh, we're ready for the NASCAR banquet today, although I question why we're having it on a Tuesday this year.
Why not?
I don't know why they don't live stream the banquet on like Twitch.
Do
and
they
YouTube.
not?
Do they not? It's on Twitter sometimes. I think the red carpet, but like the rest of it, I think is not live streamed. Unless it is live streamed. Someone's about to tell us. Everyone complained when they had to wait 2 weeks last year. That's fair, but like, why on a Tuesday? Also, I want to buy tickets. Also, it's right here in Charlotte. Why am I not getting
Put
invited?
NASCAR banquet up against the Brazilian Grand Prix on Sunday.
At the same time. At what, 3 or 4 o'clock it is?
Yeah.
That's so funny. There are many NASCAR decisions that I question. Why not add more? Everyone just wants to start the off season.
Amen.
It's a party. I guess they don't want to talk about it
Yeah,
anymore.
but they've also seen these motherfuckers every single
That's true.
weekend.
I
for
wonder
the
if it'd be
past-
better to do this before Phoenix.
the banquet.
I guess you can't award anyone anything.
You award the champion after the
Yeah, but you
before
award the champion at Phoenix.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't need to be at the banquet. You can like have the 4 that are standing there and like talk to them about it or something like that and do like a big thing. Hey, Kirby. Larson was supposed to be in Cabo tomorrow. He was supposed to be there yesterday. All right, let's get started, friends. Look, destruction about how broken the playoffs are. All right, we'll get there, fam. Let's start with our news. An intro, because I forgot to do this last time. And surprisingly, Chris didn't yell at me, but I secretly think he did yell at me, but didn't tell me directly. Everyone, welcome to the Elizabeth and Ash show. Wow, let's try that again. I think I said ass. Welcome to the Elizabeth and Ash show, where we talk about all things motorsports and sometimes not really. What episode are we on? I think they're like 66?
68. Yeah, 68.
Oh, look at us. Look at us.
Almost 69.
We gotta at least get to 100, and then we can be like, okay, I never want to see you again. But at least 100, that's a good number. That's like a solid number.
Good round number.
Starting off with some kind of news. As we know, a lot of folks have been complaining recently, or previously, about the wives and girlfriends being shown on F1's broadcast pretty often, and therefore kind of, being in the way of big moments, or we're missing the big moments because of their pivot to those folks in the garage. And F1 recently came out, specifically Dean Locke, F1's director of broadcast and media, to defend their broadcast following the criticism from drivers, Carlos Sainz saying something, and of fans. So Dean Locke was quoted from motorsport.com. This is to ensure that F1's broadcast appeal is to a diverse audience, which he said includes people who tune in for the race and others that want to soak up the whole experience around it. If we only showed close-ups of the cars on track, you wouldn't even know what track we're at, he said. We are fortunate that many circuits really have their own vibe. Think Abu Dhabi, Austin, or Monza, and we need to convey that atmosphere.
Yeah, that's certainly a statement. I don't know. I just wish there was interesting pans to the garage. In Mexico, perfect example, Oliver Behrman's dad going nuts. Phenomenal. Show me more of that. Show me people having responses and reactions. But if you show me Carlos Sainz's girlfriend having stone face, like nothing's going on, I don't. It's
Y-
not giving me a vibe.
Yeah, I like to be abundantly clear. Is there some sexism behind some people's comments around this? Yes. That is not absolved in these statements. For me and Elizabeth, or Elizabeth and I, and also I don't want to speak for Elizabeth on this, but I think Yeppe pointed out in the comment section in the chat that there are certain moments where they show, and it's not only wives and girlfriends, that seems to be predominantly it when they're like walking through the paddock and stuff like that. It's just, they're missing important action on track. And they
Yeah.
also do this sometimes with just panning to the crowd, of the crowd not reacting to anything and just people sitting there. And you're like, okay, can I see what's happening on the track, please?
Yeah. It's just a questionable direction of the
Yeah. During the
broadcast.
pre-race show where they're showing the crowd and stuff as the drivers parade and like as they're lining up and people are getting excited and they're showing like wives and girlfriends before that, cool beans. I don't really care. That sounds great. But if you're during the race, if you're missing key action points, then that is frustrating regardless of who's being shown.
Yeah. Like if you're panning into the garage and you're showing a reaction to a crazy moment, by all means I want to see that. If you
I think
but
it was
not at
Charles
the
Leclerc's
cost.
now fiance,
Yeah.
like being really nervous. I think was it. God, I forgot what race it was, but like that was good tension, and they showed it for
Yeah.
like a split second. And I
That's
was like, "That's cool.
storytelling.
That's storytelling. Great
Yeah.
point."
Yeah. That's not like just throwing something in there for no reason.
It's like them showing Taylor Swift in the NFL all the time. No, that's just sexism. That's just you being an asshole. That is vastly different. They only show her right after the play's completed, and she's celebrating. She's also shown for like 7 seconds. Total 3 hours. She always gets screen time because she's the largest pop star in the world. I have
Yeah.
no idea who these wives and girlfriends are of any of these F1 drivers. They have no influence. Nope.
They all come from the WAG machine.
They all come from the WAG machine. Those are two vastly different things. There's breaks in football with nothing going on. Right. They never showed her during a play, as opposed to the play on the field of her watching like this.
Correct.
They never interrupt a play or like offer it. And it's funny, in the article on Motorsport, he also talks about picture in picture. And I was like, have you started utilizing that?
Just not using it well enough.
'Cause even with Behrman's dad, they
Sons.
took up the full screen of him like
Yeah.
freaking out.
Having his celebration.
Which fair, but I'm like wondering what they're talking about the utilization of picture in picture here. I don't mind when they pivot to team principals and strategist from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I do
that's
like seeing
also-
the pit crews as well, like when
Oh,
they
I do
are
enjoy that,
reacting
yeah.
to stuff.
If someone's just watching,
That's not interesting.
but yeah, we want storytelling, not just oh look who's here. And this is where it gets me because they do that with celebrities too,
Yeah.
right? It's just
Look, it's Rihanna. Okay, what is she doing?
and it's like if that's there's a fine balance and interesting because he goes I want to convey the vibe of the atmosphere and I'm like you convey the
Lot of better ways
atmosphere
to do
by
that.
showing the inside of a garage. You just bitch that if we showed only the track you couldn't tell where we are. I was like if you only show the garage I can't tell where we are either.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. Easy Solution, Celebrity and Wag Cam channel on F1 TV. No, I think a picture in picture would solve everyone's problems. You still get the wags, the celebrities, and whatever you want to show, regardless if they're having emotions or not. And then show the fucking race. Just don't do it over pivotal moments. And I think that's the hard thing with F1 because there's constant action. There's no commercial breaks. There's no stop and plays. There's no stoppage in game. There's no timeouts. You're constantly showing things.
Yeah.
Because even if you think about yellow flags, it's people like jumping into the pit who might miss their pit cycle because of this, and they have to talk about that, and that takes up some time. If it's like a longer yellow flag, then fine, go for it. But even during a yellow flag, it's just like it's important. You can't miss anything.
Exactly.
I think boring crowd shots is the worst offender, especially when Isaac was blocking Alonso. He missed most of it in the favor of the crowd just staring at the track. Yeah, it's moments like that where I don't. Either they
Don't get
don't
it.
see it or they don't. But yeah.
a mess.
So what you're saying is that their priorities are entertainment and not the
This is a
race?
problem. It's not even entertainment. Like what they're showing is not entertaining. If you're just showing someone looking at a TV in a garage and there's no story behind it, that's not entertainment. That's just a fucking camera pan.
I swear to God, someone's gonna find this, but there was someone who is Stefano is works under Stefano Domenicali, and I believe as soon as the Apple news broke, he was at some talk about it. Either it was with Apple or something else, but he
Mm.
was saying about how his boss Stefano would be mad or like wouldn't want him to say this directly, but he said we're in the entertainment business essentially, and
Yeah.
Zach has also said that we're in entertainment. So it's very much that they're pivoting their messaging to we are entertaining.
Yeah.
Even though I know sports are inherently entertainment, you and I have talked about this, but they're definitely pushing on that more. And I wonder if that's going to come with some kind of rule changes or like
Mm.
regulation stuff, and they're just preparing us with these notions of everyone just saying it's entertainment.
If we have two drivers who tie, we have to let them get out of the car and fist fight to determine a winner.
I think we should have more fights. Hockey's fun because of
I
that.
agree. I agree completely.
I think George Russell can secretly fight, or just do this.
He's just got long enough arms that he could like
Yeah.
put a palm on the forehead and just hold him back.
So, very interesting. Definitely an entertainment statement. It looks like they're not changing their WAG slash family slash crowd policy of showing the shots. I guess they're going to do better of maybe doing picture in picture because he talked a lot about PIP in the article, but we'll go from there. Oh, and let me post that article in the chat for you all so you guys can read about it. Up next, of course, we also have the news back and forth of NASCAR's. I wrote new, but also old. Like they might go back to a full season of playoff points. So they're changing. They want to change playoffs. On the teardown, Jordan Bianchi and Jeff Gluck. They both write for the Athletic. Is that correct?
Yes.
They both write for the Athletic, which is the New York Times sports part. And I'm paraphrasing here. They were quoted, and they kind of they got a bit flamed for this today. They said Jordan was saying, I had a conversation today with a longtime reporter who's been around a bit, and they were quoted saying, it was awful to cover sport for a season-long championship because of the lack of storylines. It was very difficult.
I think if you don't find storylines, you are not looking hard enough. And I think it's so easy, I think, to get caught up in the, especially with NASCAR, the back to back to back nature of everything is happening constantly all at once. But it doesn't take too much effort to like look at a standings list at the end of the day and say, oh, XYZ person had a good day, especially like, I don't know, you had owners championships, you
Mm-hmm.
had people who just showed up every so often to do a race. It just, I don't know. There's ways to do it. It just requires a certain amount of creativity that I think a lot of folks in motorsport journalism do not necessarily have.
Chicago says they're a writer if there's not a storyline and make one. There's a scene in Gilmore Girls where Rory starts working for the Chilton newspaper, and Paris Geller, who eventually becomes her friend but like currently arch nemesis, gives her a story of like repaving the school parking lot. And Rory did such a good job on it. The teacher gave it to her like front page, like below the fold, because she's like you did a fabulous job like turning this story. It's like an emotional like things that were old and now renewed, like all this stuff. And I was like, if Rory, in a fictional world, can create a story paving story, like write a story about paving school parking lots that resonates with this teacher to give her front page, you can find a real story in a sport of the NASCAR long ass calendar.
Yeah. I think so. I wrote about this on my Deadly Passions, Terrible Joy Substack this week, but there's a lot of dissatisfaction after the conclusion of this playoff finale. But the problem that I think is going to exist is that there is no cohesive storytelling. This is a problem that's going to continue to plague NASCAR well beyond just like they can get rid of playoffs and say we're going back to a full season format so that it's easy for fans to understand. Sure, works, but also Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi have pointed out this issue of, you have to look harder for storylines, whatever, you know, you should still be doing that now, though, instead of just focusing exclusively on here are the playoff guys and here's what they're doing. Because it's not the interesting stuff in every race necessarily. There are so many drivers, there are so many races, there are so many different stories that can be told. There are guys who have great weekends and guys who have bad weekends. Like,
I mean, then you start interviewing families, fans,
yeah,
like going to each racetrack, the history, stats. Like, I
yeah.
think there's a lot. Yes, to your point, you do have to dig a little bit more. But, like, isn't that the fun of kind of being a journalist? Like, finding that nugget or, like, connecting 2 points together and researching, figuring out, talking to people on the ground or in their camp. You
I
talk to
mean, not in this modern
manufacturers.
era.
What, you saying people don't like facts and science anymore, Elizabeth?
No, not. I mean, what I'm saying is like people don't. If you can't produce something that is a quick hit, um, no one wants to have to be able to do it. Like if you were putting thought and analysis and reason behind, like if you have to justify that by saying this is a story that matters as opposed to this is an SEO keyword that clicks, you have a much more difficult time selling that to anyone in the higher ups. You have a much
Mm.
more difficult time as a writer conceiving of anything beyond what those things are doing, and what kind of the key keywords are. So it makes it difficult. You have to have confidence in yourself. You have to have confidence from your publisher. You also have to put in like the time and the effort and the work, and the chances of you also being asked to do fucking a YouTube video or a post race teardown or something on top of that. Um, you know, you're doing 900 jobs at this point, so makes it a little bit like it is a problem. It's something that I do think needs to stem from NASCAR specifically in making an effort. Like I thought this year they did a very terrible job of telling me why they think, or like why the four championship contenders deserved a championship. So you come to the end of the race and it kind of feels like you got screwed out of a good finish because, especially in Xfinity, there's like a guy who certainly should have won, and we'll get talking about this more. But I like NASCAR should have been hyping me up and saying this is why Jesse Love deserves this prior to even arriving at Phoenix. I should have had a sense of that, and I didn't have a sense of that. I just had a sense of kind of the stats that they could put out and the fact that like their justification was this is just how this format works.
And we'll definitely get into that in our
Yeah.
next section when we talk about all about the NASCAR Championship weekend and such. And lastly, in our piece of news, the 8 hours of Bahrain this weekend for the FIA World Endurance Championship will be Jenson Button's last professional race in his career. He won the 2009 F1 Championship. He's also been racing professionally since 1998, so he's hanging up his hat this weekend. So tune in.
Crazy.
Go Cadillac. I'm working with him again
Yeehaw.
for this race. So yeehaw.
Tune in.
Tune in. It's at 6 a.m. in the fucking morning, East Coast.
Ooh,
I'm
too
gonna win it
early.
all. Let's go. Caddy fans, you're saying there's a chance? Yeah, mathematically, Cadillac could win the manufacturers. More likely than not, win second place, which is really nice. So, I appreciate it. And taking a little bit of a pause there because I have to answer questions and Chap can cut this part out. Chandi with the 44 months, thank you so much. Monthly check-in and say, woohoo, Ash, keep crushing it and bring me to a race one day. I'm bringing Elizabeth. And then maybe you. Thank you, Chandi. I appreciate the 44 months. I hope you're doing well. How's that cookie business treating you? We also have a new viewer, Bick96. When did you begin watching F1? Elizabeth, go.
I started watching F1 in 2013 after the movie Rush came out, and I realized that this shit is cool, and better than the movie that they made it out to be. But I did like NASCAR as a kid, so I grew up in the motorsport space with
I
the
started
F1
watching
acquisition.
F1 in 2006 because of Robert Kubica, because my parents are Polish, and my dad said there's a Polish dude, and we have to support him. What's your favorite race ever?
Are we like, did we talk specifics?
Yeah, we're talking like history or like race series too. I like sports cars. I like Dakar. I don't know. I can't really pick just one race because a lot of races have influenced a lot of things.
I'm picking specifically the 1971 United States Grand Prix, which Francois Savert won and was the only race he ever won in his entire F1 career.
You're like, done. That's it.
Sold.
I guess I have to say the 2008 Canadian Grand Prix. So,
Good choice.
because my boy Bobby Coob. And who's the best driver you've ever seen? Bobby Coob. What a ridiculous question.
Best driver I've ever seen? Oh, that's a great question. That's too hard to answer. It depends on how you define great driver.
Yeah, we got Bobby Coob. I've been to a few F1 races, like Lewis Hamilton, Max
Yeah.
Verstappen. I've been able
Yeah.
to talk to. I mean, Elizabeth has interviewed a lot of drivers in the modern era, so she's seen a lot of cool shit. I've only been able to interview like Yuki, Daniel Ricciardo, Max, Robert Kubica, some Ford drivers, sports car racing wise. Also, but like you meet people at Spa 24.
Yeah. It's hard to pick.
Bobby Coob for all of those. Done. It was
Best driver ever, Bruno Giacomelli. Oh my God, are you Josh Wilcock?
How did you know? It's all right. Let's get into the NASCAR Championship weekend. My trucks prediction was correct. Everything else went to shit.
Yes. We had Corey Heim win the truck championship. We talked about this last weekend. Masterclass race season. He got pole position. So he did 25 races this year. He got pole position at 28% of the races. Won 48% of the races. Finished in the top 5 76% of the time. Finished in the top 20 or the excuse me, the top 20, the top 10 84% of the time and had no DNFs. So this is only the 17th champion in the 77-year history of NASCAR's top 3 touring series to have accomplished this feat. The first since Ben Rhodes in 2021. That is a 0 DNFs. 1,627 laps led.
Pretty good.
That is a minimum of 3.28 times more than any other lap leader this season. And he took a stunning victory with a 7 wide pass after a 4-tire pit call saw him drop in the running order to 9th for an overtime restart. So looked like his chances were over. The competition all took 2 tires. Corey Heim went for 4, put him back in the running order as we went to a restart. And nevertheless, he was unstoppable. So he got every stage and set the fastest lap in the finale. So he ended up taking a very, very dominant win, which of all of the guys this season, he definitely did deserve that. Not quite sure what he's doing for 2026, however. Maybe the race results influence a retirement in the Cup Series, and there is potentially a driver lineup change in the Toyota camp. Hint, hint. Maybe his deal with 2311 evaporates and opens the door to other manufacturers. There's a lot that could go on, depending on lawsuit outcomes, retirements, all sorts of stuff going on. Yeah.
And I still think at this point, everyone in my Discord was like fine with what was going on in the truck race and how it ended. And then it really devolved at Xfinity.
Yeah.
People were upset.
It all went to hell.
I don't know how we started so strong with trucks. And then
we had one good day, and then we go to the Xfinity Series, and our winner of the 2025 championship is Jessel Michael Gregory Love Jr., a name that absolutely fought in the Civil War. Jesse Love was battling all night with his competitors and looked like he would finish behind the junior motorsport kind of juggernaut that existed. And yet, as the race got darker, JRM seemingly kind of forgot how to handle cooler temperatures and lost the handle on its cars. Neither Justin Allgaier nor Connor Zilisch were able to hold off Jesse Love, which truly is insane. We had chaos. Connor Zilisch should have absolutely won that championship. From a friend of the show, Victoria Beaver, who is a correspondent at Road and Track and was at the race this weekend, Zilisch told media after his third place finish, quote, "Every run we just tanked. I don't know if I was just pushing it too hard at the beginning of runs or what it was. After 20 laps, I just couldn't hang on and started losing lateral grip. I don't really know what we thought, but I felt like every run we were the second best car. Whether it was Justin or Jesse, we just never had the best car. He made a point of racing in the bottom groove in turn 1 to 2 for most of the night. And during that final push to victory, he stayed dedicated to that groove, whereas Jesse Love was able to kind of get the upper hand by moving further up the track. Not fun. Um, what a bad vibe. Connor Zilic dominated this season and
Yeah.
seemed like he
One
should
of the
be
most
ashamed
dominant
of
rookies
this.
in
Yeah,
like most recent times.
yeah. Um, I guess there's some smidge of consolation that he lost it to Jesse Love, who is his best friend. But I am sure the post-race drinks debrief was a little awkward after that one. The great news for Connor Zilic, despite all of this, is that he is going to the Cup Series next year, and Jesse Love is tentatively staying in what will be known as the O'Reilly Series next year for a third season at RCR.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I keep forgetting about that.
Adding insult to injury, as a result of this, Junior Motorsport, which was dominant all season, lost the Drivers' Championship and the Owners' Championship. Um, So that's fun. That's crazy. And there's more. Because Connor Zilic did not win the championship this year, he has now been removed from a rookie test lineup put on by Cadillac Hertz Team Jota in Bahrain this weekend. So he does not have enough ACUS license points to test. This is, hold on. I know what this means, but
Oh, Automobile Competition Committee for the United States.
yes. So licensing committee, right, does not have the points that would be required to test that. He's looking at getting an opportunity in IMSA, so
Is this
that
an
should
FIA
be
points
okay.
thing or a because it's ACUS, it's completely different?
They are, I believe, they're associated, in the sense of like
They use
they.
their
I think
point
I think
system.
the ACUS is like not a subsidiary, but like the American liaison to the FIA, and so they have their own way of working together to determine driver eligibility for these kinds of things. Um, so I have to look into that more. I did
Oh, it's
not
the
dig into that
official
today.
U.S. National Sporting Authority of the FIA. So it's
Yeah,
basically just FIA
yeah,
points.
yeah. So
Okay.
he's not,
Pericles, you can go back in the chat to shitting on the FIA.
yeah,
My apologies.
not great. So
Okay, this is where like it blows my mind. He didn't win
hmm
the championship
hmm
due to the way it works. But otherwise, he has the most dominant. He had the most points, bar a win, and he
hmm
came in third, right?
yeah, third in the
Third
race.
in the race. But the point system doesn't allow for that. But this is also a point system for a test in a World Endurance Championship race in Bahrain, not in a fucking tri-oval with a dog leg in Phoenix, Arizona. Like, I don't understand.
From
This Venn
and from a
diagram
guy
is not a circle for me,
who
and
was
I don't like it.
finishing and performing well in P2 cars in IMSA. He did he not win at Daytona and Sebring this year? Like, did he not do well at those races?
It is the
He's
FIA.
already he's already proven that he knows how to drive a prototype car, not a hypercar, but a prototype car. Um,
The NASCAR Discord user base, but it's also testing. Like, I feel like this would be a good time to get him the
yeah,
points or the experience in like a test session.
yeah, it would make sense, but no. But he's looking for opportunities in IMSA, so the Cadillac IMSA team is looking at bringing him in for the Rolex. So perhaps,
Yeah, and to clarify, ACUS, the Automobile Competition Committee for the United States, is the official U.S. National Sporting Authority, the ASN, of the FIA.
yeah.
ACUS is the governing body that works with the existing FIA system within the United States, as we did.
hmm
So they're
it's our
using,
regional body that they work with.
yeah. So it is the FIA because there's no one else making licensing points besides the FIA. And the
hmm
well, maybe like a karting association, but that we're not there. Um, And yes, NASCAR champions. I believe if you win a championship, you get a. Oh God, is it any automatic platinum license as well for
You're
your
asking
FIA
the wrong
driver's license? I
person.
remember looking at this because I was looking up like Logano and Larson, and I was like, why do they have platinums? And it said something along the lines of, if you have enough points and you win the NASCAR championship, you get also
Mm.
a platinum, which is crazy. Um, but it's yeah, I get there's rules, but two different kinds of racing, and he's proven himself to your point of winning,
Yeah.
Rolex and Sebring.
It just feels crazy.
It's just so stupid.
It really is. It really is. Can't say I'm a fan.
I feel like that alone should be automatic ticket to testing for hype. Yeah, and he's been placed in so many various situations this year.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
He's
just
won on a variety of racetracks. He has won against a variety of competitors. He's gone wheel to frickin' wheel with Shane Van Gisbergen. Like, this is a guy who's proven himself to do particularly well. Um, I don't know.
a great question from Artillery. Quick Q, if it's a USA branch of the FAA, is there one for each country? Well, maybe not each country, most countries, but yes, most countries have an ASN, and that's what the FIA body is consisted of.
Mhm.
ASNs from different countries. So when you're talking about the FIA presidential elections for like Mohammed bin Salem is running for FIA president again, he has the support of the Japan ASN, Spain's ASN, and like multiple countries ASNs. Like a lot of people
Mhm.
are already backing him. Um, which is when we talk about that part in the FIA elections. That's what we're saying. So there's a lot of ASNs, and you can I think volunteer or work with them, and they work with like marshals and the system, the motorsports system in those countries. So you can actually look up the FIA ASN in your country, and see what opportunities there are.
Yeah. There are occasionally multiple in some countries, and if your country does not have one, it is probably because you do not have a very widespread motorsport scene, at least one that dips out into the international sphere. If you want to be recognized as an ASN, you would begin operating as if you were one, and I believe be able to file for kind of recognition by the FIA.
Yeah. So fun fact.
Yeah.
Poor Connie Z.
Yeah.
So people are upset. We started good with trucks, and then we get here to kind of
This
let you.
happening while the Blue Jays were losing, like I was prepared to crash out.
Yeah,
Like at the end of that night, I was like, tomorrow better be a better day.
I'm also sorry because I know you're living with a Canadian, so it was probably very emotional for you. But that was some great fucking baseball we watched.
It was really good
That was so
baseball.
good.
I was invested. I was like, as someone who watched her first full baseball game like four baseball games ago in this World Series, I thought it was great.
I also love
It
the
was well
hustle
done.
of the players because that's something the
Yeah.
Yankees missed out last year against the Dodgers. Is just like they're just running into walls. They're sliding into bases. I'm about to break their fingers even though they're wearing that glove. It's just some crazy shit was happening. I was like, I love this. They all want it.
Yeah.
It was really really good. So now we're on to the Cup Series on Sunday.
Yes. I want to preface this because I thought that this race at Phoenix was a lot of fun. I thought if you take this race out of the championship playoff situation, we had a very fun race. We had tire strategy and vulnerability. We had crazy cautions that came and kind of forced teams and drivers to make on the fly strategy calls that had to be then executed well. We had very good passing and just passing, but like there was quality battles going on, respectful but aggressive racing, the kind of stuff we like to see, and truly the best overtime finish, I think, of this season with Brad Keselowski almost taking a victory um, with old tires and a car that was like probably no better than a 15th place car. And that was because his team nailed the strategy. We had, yes.
Um, I I feel like
Hmm.
I always have a broadcast problem.
Hmm.
I'm never happy. But essentially what had happened in the broadcast, especially the last couple of laps, which I know we'll get to, is they really just it's like they've run out of storylines or like talking points for everyone, and they only could talk about Denny Hamlin's dying father. And I was like, we
Well,
really this is
I think
all we
that
have?
So yes, I do think that was all that they had. This is so again in my Substack, this was part of what I discussed was there was no story backing up any of the
Right.
other three drivers in that championship. We had Denny Hamlin, who people were rooting for him because there were a variety of reasons to root for him. He was strong and competitive all season long. So from a competition point of view, made sense. This is the guy who's taking NASCAR to court. We have a like structural dispute that's going on here. That's a reason that people wanted to see him win. He's had a 20-year drought in championships. He's never won one. If he's gonna win one, wouldn't it be crazy if he won this year? He won the year he's suing NASCAR. And his father is in fact dying. The guy who has supported him, made the most of his career, is no longer going to be here probably for next year. He's not going to see his son do it again. Those are all fantastic reasons that made a Denny Hamlin championship run compelling. We didn't get that with anyone else. And as you mentioned, like we get into the final laps of the race and we're relying so heavily on the dying father because there is kind of nothing
We relied so heavy on that they
left.
didn't say shit about Kyle Larson. Like,
Yeah,
there's
like
nothing about him.
we didn't have anything about Kyle Larson. We didn't have anything about Chase Briscoe. We didn't
Yeah,
have
he had Trace
anything
Roman.
about William Byron. But like, I
That's a
want them
storyline.
to I want them to tell
He has an
me
upset tummy.
things. I want them to, if they're going to have this format, if they're going to have any format, I want to understand why a driver wins the championship, right? It makes sense in a full season format where you get the most points, you'd perform the best all season. You have that justification. If you're going to do anything else, you have to tell fans what's going on. So this is again, a concern that I'm going to have no matter what the final format decision ends up being in the future, whether it is a full season championship or a like 3-3-4 format or a playoff system that continue. This problem will remain. If you're not conveying to the fans why any of these drivers matter, or you're only able to do that with one driver, that indicates a problem with your ability to tell people what's going on. And at the end of that race, it was like I'm sitting there thinking they're going so hard for Denny Hamlin. If anyone else gets this, it's going to be a fucking embarrassment. And guess what? It was.
Let's go talk about the tires you've laid out here.
Yes.
Everyone's blaming the tire manufacturers, and I would like you to stop.
Yes. People are mad at Goodyear, and they should not be because this is not a Goodyear problem. This is exactly what teams, drivers, and Mr. NASCAR himself asked Goodyear to do. The industry gave Goodyear a mandate to make softer tires, and Goodyear did not only respond by accepting what the industry said, but by creating an entirely new, revolutionized construction process for these tires at the cost of millions of dollars. They are revolutionizing not just the product at the track, but the process that goes into the creation of the product. That is indicative of a fucking manufacturer that cares a lot. And they very easily could have said, no, Mr. NASCAR, we don't want to do that. Take some bids from Firestone or deal with what you get. These right side and left side tires were tires that the teams already raced this year at Bowman Gray, the Martinsville 1, Martinsville 2, North Wilkesboro, Richmond, New Hampshire, and Phoenix 2. So everyone had data sets. This was not like they just debuted a tire for this specific race and said, all right, fellas, figure it out. We've already raced this. We raced this several times. And we need to point out that Goodyear offers minimum recommended tire pressures for its tires this weekend. And teams were running, I'm not even kidding, half of the recommended tire pressure. So the left front and left rear, they were recommended at 14 psi. Teams were running at 7. This Goodyear is saying, here's how you run our tires
For
in
optimal
such a
use.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is how you will get them to last longer. And the teams are saying, I hear you, but I'm going to do something differently because it makes running the higher tire pressures makes our cars slower and more difficult to handle. So you lower the tire pressures, you keep getting lower, you keep seeing how much lower you can go. Like it's a fucking. And then you have tire blowouts, you have catastrophic tire failures. This happened to Pirelli in Formula One several years ago, where teams like Ferrari were choosing to run
Mm.
intentionally lower tire pressures that were resulting in blowouts. This was not a Pirelli problem because Pirelli told you how to use the tire. This is not a Goodyear problem because Goodyear says, here's how we instruct you to use the tire. Anything beyond that is taking your performance into your own hands. So this requires teams to strike a balance between how much you can abuse a tire, get speed, and then not have a tire failure. This is where you see a lot of those kind of powerhouse teams like Hendrick, JGR, and Penske thrive because they have kind of the know-how, the experience to put these things into
Mm-hmm.
practice. But again, you're not gonna make this stop unless Goodyear provides a tire that is just fucking indestructible and therefore no fun. Teams are going to risk a blowout before they give up a lap. They're going to push it as far as they possibly can. This this was not a Goodyear problem. We had plenty of tire failures, but I want to quote here from JGR competition director and former number 11 crew chief Chris Gabehart, who said, first off, you can't blame Goodyear. We are beating the crap out of these tires trying to go fast. So that's low air pressures, aggressive cambers, trying to win the season's biggest race. So we're just pushing Goodyear to the edge, and I don't care what they build, we're going to exploit it. That's the deal. So hats off to Goodyear and truly them continuing to live in the ridiculously tight box we put them in. But having said all that, that's what you saw. All the teams right up against the tightrope trying to extract speed out of their cars. That is what you saw. You are going to see that regardless of whether or not Goodyear brought those specific tires.
Sorry, my cat doesn't understand what daylight saving is. Very hungry. He's meowing incessantly. And he's like, please, feed me. I'm starving. You never feed me.
So anyway, we've got Kyle Larson wins this race. And in order to understand how Kyle Larson won this race, we should take it a few steps back because I think we should all remember that early in the run, Kyle Larson suffered a green flag tire failure that forced him into pit road. When he got into pit road, in order to get back on the track as quickly as possible, the team opted to change just two tires, not all four. So that kept them one lap down as opposed to putting them two laps down. So when the next caution came out, Larson got a wave around to get his lap back and was unable to pit. So he was stuck on two tires during that period. But so he was at this track position disadvantage during the final caution for William Byron's tire failure. And his crew chief Cliff Daniels says, "We're doing two tires again." Why? Because they already knew what the car would do on two tires. Meanwhile, Chris Gale for Denny Hamlin calls for four. And this is, again, not an incorrect call necessarily, because it is a call that won multiple races in the playoffs this year. It is a call that won Corey Heim his title on Friday. It is a call that is hard to debate in a race where teams are intentionally running tires to failure to maximize speed. It's kind of a more safe than sorry sort of thing. So we've got two very distinct strategies that are going on. And when they line up at the choose cone, Larson chooses the top lane and Hamlin chooses the bottom. So Hamlin lost a significant amount of track position from the four tire call. And at the choose cone, if he had chosen to go on the top, he would have been able to advance up a lane and not have been so far back. But he was more comfortable running on the bottom and felt he had a better chance making position at the bottom. Again, you look at the truck race on Friday, that's exactly what Corey Heim did. Larson chose the top and was able to take exceptional speed off of turn two because Alex Bowman did not clear himself until Larson's lane on exit, so that left him a lane, and kind of the rest is history. We saw Kyle Larson take that victory. So frustrating. I don't think the broadcast did a good job of explaining kind of how all of those pieces fell into place
Yeah.
for us to get to that
Well,
situation where
because
this
Denny Hamlin's
happened.
dad is dying.
Yes, we were focusing on a lot of the other things. And so when they made this call, you've got people saying, well, why did Denny do this? And like in retrospect, yes, why did Denny do that? Why did they take four instead of two? But that's a call that has worked, not just in the playoffs this year, but literally this weekend
Yeah.
in a championship deciding green white checker. So it
And then if there was another overtime, which is very likely the
exactly.
chance that were to
He'd
happen,
look like a genius.
yeah, he looked like a genius. But unfortunately, the cards did not work in that favor. That really sucks. Just
Yeah.
add that
So
like
we've
another way that he lost the championship. Because there's been several ways.
yeah. So we have now we now get this like damp squib of an ending that even Kyle Larson acknowledged at length in his post-race comments to media. He said, I just want to let everyone know how I felt. Again, Denny is a great competitor. He's a good friend. At 20 years of trying, getting so close, there's definitely a larger piece of me that feels really bad and sad. But at the same point, I'm happy. It's such a weird feeling. When you don't win the race, you don't lead a lap, you win the championship, you steal it from a guy who has tried for so long and had it in his fingertips. It's a really weird feeling. So, like, I think kudos to Kyle Larson in this specific instance. I think he handled that with grace. Um, he was previously kind of the epitome of everything wrong with NASCAR. And I think he put in work to recover from his racism incident. And he's kind of, I think, learned that lesson to carry on to have this grace to say, like, I'm not going to celebrate in a way that's going to rub this in Denny Hamlin's face because as a competitor, that's kind of a shitty thing to do. It would be his right to do so, but he can do whatever the fuck he wants, and he chose to not be a shithead. It is a low bar, but it is still a bar I like to see folks clear.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, exactly to your point. They're building up this story.
Yeah,
No one else, just on one person,
correct.
and then even
Yeah,
Byron didn't do it. It's just like, and they were fighting the entire time, and they were talking
yeah,
about like them two matching in the
yeah.
pit, and like who came out first, and he lost a position, and then fucking
And I think we did a criminal injustice to Chase Briscoe. I know he had a terrible day, but he dropped to the back of the field and fought his way back up several times. No, he wasn't going to win the championship, but I think that's a fucking heroic effort that should be mentioned. And not just for Chase Briscoe in this race, but if anyone's doing that in any other race, that is his storyline.
that's right. He's not the only one who probably drinks raw milk. I'm just giving him a hard time,
Correct.
especially Liberty University and that 24.
Yeah. So now we've ended up here, and a lot of folks are asking, is this time for Denny Hamlin to retire? He has said himself today he's not 100% sure what his plans are going to be for next year if he still wants to do a full-time season. He left everything on the track yesterday. He's the champion of the people, even if he is not the NASCAR crowned champion. Uh, if he retires, it'd be a great shot for Corey Heim to
Mm-hmm.
get put up into the 11 because he's one of the best young talents since guys like Denny Hamlin, the Bush brothers, or Joey Logano. And it is also hard just generally to like talk about his future with insert lawsuit here. Um, that's still going on. So it's very, Denny Hamlin's at a weird point in his life where this was definitely kind of a do or die moment and it did not work out. And now there's a lot of, I think, big questions that
He hasn't said
he will
anything
be
about his
working through.
plans. He said he has like no. What was his quote? I
Correct.
don't want to say he didn't. He said that he has no plans. I forgot what
Hmm.
his exact quote was. That he's not thinking about it, or he's not in the
I think it was
mindset.
like he's not thinking about it right now. And
Yeah,
that's,
which is depressing to anyone who's a competitor.
yeah. 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 Had he won, I think he would have probably done a Nico Rosberg and like, peace out. I've got bigger and better things
It
to
has
be
to be so
doing.
disheartening in a system like this.
Yes, I think that's the thing is like you can gear yourself up for a comfortable changing of the guard and be shot down by something that is luck or chance or chaos and not anything to do necessarily with your continued hard work throughout a season.
Yeah.
So that's NASCAR for the season, or so you think. It is 8 days until the final pre-trial hearing in the NASCAR versus 2311 and FRM lawsuit. It is 26 days until day one of the trial and 103 days to the Daytona 500. So,
Woo!
folks, get gearing up. It's all happening.
Um,
There was some chatter today about. No, I can't say that. Never mind. Excuse me.
can you? Oh, now you have to say it.
Mm-mm.
Can you text it to me? It is like a later thing. Like I can't even like hint it. Got it.
Yeah.
Understood. On my phone, it does say because I have a motorsports like calendar for both NASCAR and F1. Uh, why does it say Winston Salem on January 30th, 2026? Are we starting that early?
What is this? Is that the Clash?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are doing it.
In
Judge Bell
January?
issued summary statements when we went on air today, so there are some summary statements available. But yeah, we are kicking off quite
January
early.
30th? Doesn't
Mhm.
F1 start like right at soon at the same time?
Correct.
Holy shit.
Correct. I'm gonna drop this link in here.
Is this the thing you're not allowed to tell me?
No,
Oh, boring.
it's just the next kind of step in the right direction. So here we go.
Let's go. Someone got. When's the trial? Can someone tell me? December 11th? Is that what it is? I don't know why I have that date in my head. It's December something. If
What's
someone can tell me.
26 days from now? November something. December 1st. I don't know.
November 30th? Am I here? Can I go live stream outside the court?
That'd
I
be
literally live a
fun.
couple blocks from it.
Do it.
No cap.
Just show up.
Just show up. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Live stream the NASCAR trial. How fun would that be? Let's do that.
Yeah.
But this weekend,
Mhm.
F1 is back.
We've got the Gran Premio de Felipe Massa Perdido, aka the Grand Prix of Felipe Massa losing.
Sad.
Beware, friends. It is a sprint weekend again. So Friday, we have FP1 at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time and sprint qualifying at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturday, 9 a.m. sprint race, 1 p.m. qualifying for the Grand Prix, and Sunday, the race is at noon Eastern. So, should be fun. We are looking at some weather in the forecast this weekend. It is looking like we might have some rain. Not sure how it looked kind of very bad a couple of days ago. It seems like that forecast has lessened, but you never know. We're going to be seeing folks like Lando Norris, who now leads the World Drivers' Championship by one single point over Oscar Piastri, trying to assert his dominance. So expect some fun competition. Also expect, if it's raining, Max Verstappen to get involved in the action because he is a
Classic.
strong wet weather racer.
Be very clear. Max Verstappen is a strong wet weather racer. Lewis Hamilton is a strong wet weather racer. Lance Stroll is not.
We're going to have a fun battle for the World Constructors Championship because the battle between Ferrari and Mercedes for second overall is 1 point as well. So that not as exciting or as like glamorous as the Drivers' Championship, but that World Constructors Championship money is what makes the world go round. So those drivers are going to be busy.
Yeah. So to that point, I realized I didn't add that in the correct section, but I guess someone moved that around. But thank you so much. That the why does the manufacturers championship matter? A lot of motorsports, I think all motorsports have this. I know WEC does, NASCAR does. They don't talk about it heavily. In WEC, they kind of do a little bit more. NASCAR barely talks about it because besides there's owner playoffs, but whatever. But they talk about this. or don't talk about this because I guess it's not sexy to your point, but that's
Yeah.
where all the money is for all these
Yes.
series. This is
Yes.
where most of the majority of money comes through. And for F1, right, it's also engineering
Wind tunnel
prestige,
testing time.
wind tunnel testing time, engineering prestige, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
F1 is
I
about
won.
figuring out the rules, and I won through all these races, in all these climates, in all these elevations, in all these kinds of tracks. I won. So your brand value goes up, and I wrote maximizing stakeholder value because I love capitalism, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Woo!
You don't get prize money for winning as a driver. You get prize money for winning the Constructors' Championship. And the drivers who are paid by their team. They can be paid a certain amount of money and then have bonuses based on performance, but they are not. If Max Verstappen wins a race, the organizers of that Grand Prix that he has won is not handing him a check like they used to do. This all goes into a pool that is distributed at the end of the season based on constructors' standing points.
With the second place, right, Ferrari's 1 point ahead of Mercedes, but Red Bull is 10 points behind Ferrari, so it's actually pretty
Yes.
close.
It is it's gonna be fun.
And then for sixth place, you have Racing Bulls and VCarb currently holding on to sixth place, but you also have Aston Martin, Haas, and Sauber right behind them.
Mm-hmm.
So all that stuff,
Yeah,
all
we
that
got a lot of
money,
good
wind tunnel
battles.
time, all the good battles are people are still competing for every dollar they possibly can.
Yeah. So it should be fun. I'm hyped. I love
I forgot
Brazil.
that it was a sprint
Yeah, I know.
till you
They
said it.
really throw them all at you all at once at the end of the season.
Yeah. It's interesting that every time I look at storylines from the F1, it talks about the close fight for the championship constantly. I know a lot of drivers, not a lot of drivers. There are some drivers' futures that are unknown. Yuki Tsunoda is a popular one. We don't know who's racing alongside Max Verstappen.
And both V-carb drivers
both
are also
V-carb.
up in the air because
Franco
of that.
Colapinto, TBD, along Pierre Gasly. We don't know.
No, Gasly signed.
Oh no, sorry, Franco Colapinto. We don't know with Pierre Gasly. Like
Oh.
who's racing with Pierre Gasly? Sorry, that's
Got
what I
it.
meant. If that wasn't my bad. So, some silly season news, but we'll never know when that comes out.
Stay tuned though, particularly for the.
I don't want to deal
Franco
with sprint
news.
races. What are the times? Oh, you have it. Thank you. Are these in Eastern or Central?
Yes, they are Eastern.
Okay, best time zone. Let's go. We have Friday 9:30 a.m. Eastern FP1. Friday at 1:30 p.m. is sprint qualifying. Saturday at 9 a.m. is the sprint race, with Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern being regular qualifying, and then Sunday at 12 p.m. is the race. My cat's excited.
Mm-hmm.
You're very right, Pookie. Yes, sir. You'll be fed
Stoked.
immediately.
Little guy.
Have you ever met me not to feed you? I have fed you every day of your life, multiple times a day. And you think today is just the day I'm not going to do that?
Yeah.
Why are you meowing?
Because you're late.
No, I'm not. I'm right on time. I'm early. It's 6:07. He gets fed at 6:30.
No. It's 7:30 for him. He's just a little boy.
Also, I'd like to say that sometimes he forgets. He like sleeps through his breakfast.
Ours never. I could only be so lucky.
He doesn't understand time zones. Teach him to read a clock. That's what I'm saying. If I can teach him to harness train and to go through the dog puzzle treats, I think I can teach him to read a clock.
That'd be fun.
The adorable hunger meows. Okay, I don't know if anyone else owns a cat, and I'm so glad we're talking about this. Elizabeth, at some point during the early morning hours, sometimes it's 5.
Uh-huh.
Usually it's like 6. And even though he's been downstairs hanging out for a couple hours, and he's been upstairs hanging out with us, like sleeping in his heated bed, by the way, which he has, or his other bed, or his other bed, or in our bed, he will still either like leave the room to do something and then come back and just yell.
Mm-hmm.
But then he comes, and after we wake up, we don't we have stopped reacting to this for like weeks. He will still come in. He will meow, yell, and then we are awake and we are annoyed, and then he'll come snuggle with us and stop yelling.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? What is he
I
doing?
think he just wants to make sure that you know that he's back and everyone is safe and sound. Slider does this. Like but that's just because she fucking screams bloody murder if you're anytime she sees you or wants anything or does anything. So cats are just cats. I don't think there's I don't think there's a response
He's
or like an
hungry
answer.
because he'll stop meowing eventually. Like he'll wake us up again. We
He
don't
wants
respond.
to he probably wants to play. He's probably a little lonely. Like he thinks you guys he's ready to go. You guys should probably be ready to go. Even if you've never been ready to go at 4:30 in the morning before, he wants you to do it today.
But then he'll come to me and then he'll snuggle
Yeah,
for another two
because he
hours,
knows
hour and a half.
he's not gonna get it if he wants to have playtime. The best he's gonna get is snuggles. If he can meow and get you up, I think that like that's what cats want. If you're not going to get up, then they still want your affection, so they'll still come and snuggle. Pop does this all the time. Pop tries to freaking beat down the door, and eventually it's like, bro, chill. And then he'll come and curl up between me and Chris and fall asleep. It's just gotta.
He has an automatic feeder. He knows when he gets fed. Like he hears the sound. And then we also do the treat thing. Like he gets treat puzzles. He gets frozen churro lick mats. To tire him out at the end of the day, we either do clicker training, or I just toss treats up and down the stairs.
It's so funny.
I make him sit, and then I'm tossing him up and down stairs. I know not everyone has stairs, or like toss him on the other side of the room, and he sprints and he tires himself out. Bro's got it made. Yeah, this is one spoiled cat. I'm gonna be honest with everyone.
There's nothing like a cat owned by two childless people.
Two childless millennials.
Yes, getting
never
all
want
of the
children.
love.
Yeah, we were thinking about adopting another cat, but I'm TBD on
Yeah.
that one. TBD.
Do it.
Best cat life ever? I'm telling you. What else? He has this tunnel. I got him recently one of those things. It's like a string that like circles itself. It's like it has like a motor,
I've seen those.
and like I tie his little toys to it so it goes around in a circle really fast. Hey, gamer, welcome on in. He's got all his springs, his hair ties. Okay, to clarify, I know cat owners get mad or like when I say hair ties, they're like the big chunky silk ones, so he
Yeah.
cannot swallow them. They are not small. I have small plastic ones, but they are hidden away, locked in a Ziploc bag under the thing that I don't ever use. So it's these big silk ones. He has the white ones because he likes to chew on my brown ones, but he's not allowed to do that because they're for me, and then they smell like stinky tuna breath. So he gets his own white pack of silk hair ties that he likes to chew on, and I like fling them across the room.
That's cute.
He also has like this. Our friend Riley got him like this soft stick thing that like he like can hug and like use his back legs on. Does that make sense?
Cute.
He has scratchers in almost every single room of his house. He's got a window perch in 2 rooms of the house. He's got a very tall cat tree, as someone has seen, like 7 foot tall. So he lords over us all times.
Big boy.
He's cat tunnels. Cat wheel that's very large. If people have seen that in the Discord.
So funny. Living the dream.
Yeah, he's moved in. This is his house now. I don't know what else to do for this man. I don't understand how you can be bored. He's become curious about our fireplace, but I think I need to send you a picture of his paw. I think he might have burnt himself, like very slightly on his paw, because now it's scabbed over, and we know it doesn't hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a little. So it's like he has black beans. It's like a little brown spot.
Sometimes they get little icks anyway. Gator particularly, like he'll get like little flaky bits on his paws.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt him, because and he's able to. He walks. He's walking normally and everything, so it's nothing like I've seen. I don't also want to be that cat parent that goes to the vet for every single thing. Be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, and they'll be like, what are you wasting our time for? Like, what are we doing? So, chat, any comments, questions, concerns? Elizabeth, what are we expecting from you this week? Where should people go?
Girl, I don't fucking know. I am doing more on my Deadly Passions Terrible Joy Substack, so if you would like to stay tuned for incoming motorsport history, I'm doing a deep dive in the Honda RA272 as well as a Lewis Hamilton like kind of feature about his love of animals and kind of how his dog Roscoe helped him become a better person. Other than that, this girl is just vibing. I'm unemployed, so if you've got some work, if you want me to edit your child's essays for school, if if you just
your
want to
own
give me
essays?
money. Do whatever makes you happy. I would love that. Thanks. I'm working on getting paid subscriptions up on my DPTJ Substack. I'm currently having some technical difficulties. The everything on the Substack will continue to be free. This is just a monthly or annual subscription if you would like to support motorsport journalism, as there is no current support for me other than vibes.
And I am, just one more time, I know some of you have heard this because I said in the beginning, but I am streaming with Cadillac Racing on their YouTube channel. So if you are so inclined to wake up and watch the race Eastern, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., I will be there. Hanging out in the chat, doing what I usually do. I'll only be hosting the first 4 hours because then I got to get on an aeroplane and go to a wedding.
Fun.
So fun. So yeah, just Cadillac Racing YouTube channel. Smiles in West Coast. Yeah, one of the producers of the live stream, he's on the West Coast, but he'll be utilizing an employee on the East Coast for this one.
It's a smart idea.
So go Wadawack. Go Cadillac. Should cost money to produce. Like, comment, subscribe. Agreed.
Yeah.
Make the Canadian pay.
Working on some good stuff for next year. I've got some great things that are lined up, but again, next year. Oh, thank God. Okay. Deadly Passions, Terrible Joys subscriptions are back. They're here. Go subscribe to them.
Yeah, support our girl, Elizabeth.
Support your local EA Blackstock.
Support your local Elizabeth Blackstock. Go to your phone book, find Elizabeth Blackstock. It's probably the only one in Texas.
You're not going to find it because it's not my legal name.
Jeez. So I'm trying to help you out here.
Sorry. I don't want people to support me by going to my house.
Yeah, don't go to her house. Too far. Too far.
Please,
Please don't go to my house
no.
either. It's her illegal name, not her legal name. That's funny.
Damn straight.
What else can we tell you? Drink water, take your meds, touch some grass, watch all the motorsports this weekend. Enjoy, have a good time. Asian Le Mans Series also comes back soon, so that's fun. You won't be without. Dakar starts soon. Well, January 1st usually. But just letting you know, motorsports does not end. Constant, 24/7. Let's go, baby. What else? Go vote. 40% of Americans have elections. If you're on the East Coast, you probably have about an hour and 14 minutes left to cast your ballot.
Go!
Charlotte has elections. So go do this.
Yeah. Do it.
Do it. Exercise your rights. A lot of good people died and marched for you to fucking vote. I don't know if that's like too much. Does that make sense, Chad? I got interviewed by a local news station today about like voting and stuff. And they're like, why do you vote? And I was like, a bunch of women literally marched so I could vote. And I'm going to say no and not exercise my right to vote when men used to not let me vote.
Yeah.
Like that seems like wild.
Yeah. It seems like the least you could do.
Call your representatives and tell them to reopen the goddamn government. Agreed.
If you've got time, energy, etc., volunteer at your local food banks if possible.
Or donate canned food, or like look up what they need, because it could be women's hygiene products as well. That'd be very helpful. Panda put in a good suggestion in the Discord. She's playing this game that gives you gift cards, like $5, etc., and then you can combine all the gift cards and you can buy things off their Amazon wish list. So
that's fun.
Yeah, we did the Feeding America drive. That was for 24 hours. If you do want to keep giving, you can obviously keep giving to Feeding America / the Driven to Give. A bunch of motorsport content creators got together on Instagram to promote Feeding America. Podium Sundays started Driven to Give. I believe we reached the 44,000. I can tell chat. I did say I would match donation, and my company does match donations. So,
Nice.
Chat, you gave individually a total of 1,720. I matched $1,000, and then my company matched my $1,000. So altogether, we raised $3,720 as a Vandelay fan.
Hell yeah. That's so much fun.
So that's because of you guys. So remember, even if it was $5, because my match and my company's match, that $5 becomes $15. And $1 buys at least 10 families food. Because what they do is work with local partners to any food waste. Because a lot of grocery stores and restaurants and things like that throw out food because it looks bad. Like, there's a blemish on this apple, even though it's completely edible. So they work with local grocery chains and stuff to get that food at a discount cost, and that's why $1 can buy families a lot of meals. So yeah, yeah. So definitely volunteer. Time is also very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get woke for a second, Chet. Sit around the fire here on Ashley and on Elizabeth. If you cannot give money, that is totally okay. We're all scrounging here. It's all rough. We got rent, we got groceries, we just got other bills and utilities. Some of us are helping pay for families' medical care or taking care of family members, and you can't give that. However, we do have something that I don't think people value enough in their day-to-day lives is time. Remember, you cannot get time back. Time is a finite resource. So if you have the time to go to a food bank, to volunteer in your community and do something good for your community, for people in need, to support what your community does, because you drive on the community's roads, you use their fire department. God forbid you don't never need to, but you'll use the community's fire department, you'll use the community's sidewalks, you use the community's police, etc. You can give back to the community by contributing a time, an hour, to do something good, whether that's packing up backpacks for kids and helping food insecure families to get groceries and packing that up so they can just pick up and go, things like that. There's always things you can do in your community to volunteer. Humane Society. There's a lot. So, yeah, consider it. Time is very important. If you don't have the cash, time is as important. Thank you for coming to my Ash Talk.
Thank you, Ash Talk.
Join a union. I can't join a union. I don't have a union to join. There's no change manager union in the United States.
Change manager union.
There's no corporate America union I can join.
That'd be fun.
Office work? I don't think there is one. I mean, I'll look into it, but... Hi, Ashley. Chat, any comments, questions, concerns? We have 8 hours of Bahrain on Saturday. Remember, it's Saturday, 6 a.m. Eastern. It is 8 hours. I'll be hosting the first 4 hours of Cadillac. Then we have Formula One. Go support Elizabeth in her Substack. Yeah. Whack, let's fucking go. I'm trying to think if there's any other racing. NASCAR's done. WEC is done. IMSA is done. We'll get a little bit of a break. That's going to be nice.
Yeah, thank God.
Do we have another break after Brazil?
There's so many commercials that I'm so excited I don't have to see again because I'm not going to watch NASCAR anymore this year.
God, if I never see a penis enhancer commercial again in my life, I will not be upset.
The Sky Rizzy jingle gets stuck in my head unironically on a very regular basis. I'm just making dinner thinking the Sky Rizzy song. I'm glad that does not have to be forced upon me anymore.
Oh, this is crazy. So we have the Brazilian GP, and then we have another break.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
But after that...
No. So they go straight from Vegas to Qatar to Abu Dhabi. I think it's a triple header again.
Yes, it's a triple header to finish it out. Carrot commercials will continue until morale has improved. Now! Don't let anyone make you feel ashamed for a bent carrot. What a way to sign off. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. We'll be back here next Tuesday. I'll probably not be here for the Brazilian GP because I have a wedding, unless I'm in the car. Then I'll watch it and stream it while we're driving down the highway. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Thank you for letting me be woke at the end of this. Support your local Elizabeth Blackstock.
Thanks.
Feel free to join the Discord
everyone. If
you like. I post pictures of my cat. Hi, Ashley. Thank you for stopping by. Sorry you stopped by, then we left you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Oh, look who's not meowing anymore. Look who's just eeping away.
Just shocking.
Shocking. If you subscribed, thank you. I appreciate you. If you followed, thank you so much. Gamer, appreciate you. Bick, Artillery. And then Pericles, Kel, and Chandi. Bye, everyone.